Hello and welcome to Season 2 of Inconceivable. I'm William.
I'm Alex.
I'm Wesley.
Oh, yes, it's good to be back. What do you think of our new set? Ooh,
I like
of
it.
Knickknacks everywhere. We'll be fiddling with them and adding new stuff here and there. So
Except we're not allowed to touch them. So
it's delicate. It's delicate.
So are you.
Thank you.
That's not a compliment.
So, let's go right into talking about the big thing that we all want to talk about, being Star Wars. Holy crap, next movie is here. What was your first impressions after watching it? Bad.
My first impressions were bad. So we get into the movie. So spoilers, obviously.
Yes,
spoilers for everything that's going to happen.
Spoilers a hoe.
We get into the movie and the title pops up and the crawl starts and I'm just like, I'm feeling as giddy as a schoolgirl. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
A schoolgirl.
And then we get to the discussion. We get to the banter between Hux and Poe. Where he's pretending he doesn't hear him or whatever, and I'm just kind of like, okay. It's like it felt like Star Wars up to this point, and this feels really in place. Yeah, the humor in that, at least in that particular moment, was just kind of okay. And then Princess Leia does her little space Mary Poppins space act, and I wasn't.
Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Different Mary Poppins.
I wasn't too sure about that either. And just some other things along the way. At first I wasn't impressed with the direction of Luke's character. I didn't like the whole force projection thing confused me, and why they chose to make it so complicated, and Luke died anyway. Mm-hmm. Snoke being killed off so quickly and in that way. But then I watched it a second time, and I realized that Snoke plays very much the same role in this movie that the Emperor did in the original trilogy. We're just spoiled and we want to know everything about everybody. The Princess Leia thing didn't bother me so much. I kind of let go of the fact that the humor was like that. I was just like, yeah, whatever, it is what it is.
It is Star Wars because they do have some humor that falls flat sometimes.
The biggest thing for me was time. Thinking about it was enough to make all of those other problems just go away from me. I was like, they're fine. Mm-hmm. The only one that stuck with me going in to watch it the first time was the way they handled Luke's character. I was still really unsure and disappointed with the direction of that. But after watching it a second time, I realized that because my problem with it was, Luke is another just sissified Jedi because of trauma and whatever, he's given up, woe is me.
He's traditional Skywalker trait at this point.
But it's not like that. He's thought this out. He's really convicted about it. It's not woe is me, I'm so sorry for myself. It's, no, I really messed up and I hurt people I cared about. I'm staying right here. I'm going to stay here. This is where I need, it was a really, a firm, I've thought about this, I've made up my decision, like a big boy, you know what I mean? It wasn't so seeing that, I was like, okay, I see Luke getting there, and we forget that by the time, we're watching The Last Jedi, there's 30 years of Luke's life we haven't seen. We don't get to see it.
Yeah.
And that's the Luke that people were expecting to see in this movie. But we've already gone past it. So
we've missed a whole story arc.
Exactly.
That, yeah.
So Luke becomes that triumphant, enthusiastic Jedi Master that he looks like he's going to become at the end of Episode 6. He becomes that. We're just past it now.
And probably almost too much so, where this is the backlash of that, where he trusted himself too much.
Yeah. And who's to say that nothing bad was going to happen? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So.
Have you seen the movie once or twice?
I saw it twice. The first time I watched it with my brother. The second time I watched it with you.
What was your first and second impressions of the movie?
My first impressions of the movie, I left the theater feeling really confused. I wasn't sure how I felt about the movie. Some of it was really cool. Other parts just threw me off a ton. And I was like, do I hate this movie? Do I like this movie? I'm not sure. I really don't like some of it, though.
I remember you walking into the house, and I was like, Alex, how is it? And you're like, I don't know.
I couldn't, spoil anything, and I didn't know how to just tell you guys, because I didn't know how I felt, and it was really bothering me. I was like, again, a lot of the humor fell short on me. I was like, I don't really care for it. Some of it made me very uncomfortable too. Like I've told you guys multiple times, the whole like Luke Skywalker getting the green milk from that nipple monster on
The nipple monster.
on the seaside, and then looking at Rey and
It
just
was
being like,
more of the look after. It
Yeah, he
was-
looks at Rey and wipes his mustache. And he's just like,
I didn't find it very moving. If you will.
Yo, you beat me to the punch for a punch.
Shut up!
I feel like he was one step away from like looking at Ray and then like looking at like the camera, breaking the
like-
fourth wall. Like now that's refreshing, you know?
That would be a Mark
You're like
Hamill
it's just
thing.
like
And like him like throwing the lightsabers.
Yeah.
It is like okay.
Okay, that was something that I wasn't sure about too. I'm just like, we've been waiting 2 years for this moment. We are so excited.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, all right,
We're
what's gonna
frozen
happen?
in this
Is
time.
he gonna like? Is he gonna like use the Force to grab the lightsaber and then turn it on, just smile at her or something, or
I
just like
audibly-
start crying?
Like in the theater when he threw the lightsaber, I like audibly exclaimed like, "What?" Like literally, like me and my friend were watching it,
Yeah.
and it just happens, and I'm literally like, "What?"
I was watching. I'm like, whoa, hey. Okay. Also, geez. Let's face it. Okay, so the movie has a lot of flaws. The second time watching it, I did enjoy it a lot more. I was able to like, think it over, and
Yeah.
it had a lot of flaws, but it also, second time watching it, I was looking for certain things, and they explained some of the stuff that happens that I was unsure about, like Luke projecting himself or whatever.
Yeah, that was admittedly confusing the first time.
I was like, why though? But
Although
then,
you and I had like you and I felt this like the same exact way about the movie after seeing it a second time. I remember talking to you about it.
Yeah,
and I was-
basically, like I remember, I think you watched the movie like the day after I watched it, and I was waiting for you to come back, and you came back home, and I was sitting on the chair, and you
I
just
said
came up to-
Star Wars
you came
is
up to me,
dead.
and just like Alex, and I'm like, yeah, and you're like, Star Wars is dead. I'm like, sit down, come talk to me.
That's how much
Just
I
let
didn't
it out,
like it
man.
the first time.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't hear that. I remember you coming home and being like, I don't know. I can't possibly say anything
can't
without
comprehend
spoilers.
it, yeah.
And that just made me really concerned.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was. It's an okay movie. It's a pretty good movie. It's not great, but let's face it. There is an entire like half hour that none of us like, and we all know what it is. It's the stupid casino scene.
Yep.
Nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
I was like, I just think about it. I was like, this is so boring. It's called Star Wars, not like Star Casinos. Okay, for lack of a better name.
Well, I totally get the world building thing.
Yeah, but it's.
But I guess when it comes to Star Wars, with one, there being so much lore, and two, this is the 8th movie in its thing and the 9th movie total. We have so many questions, like especially going into this movie, we had so many questions that anytime not spent awing us with action or giving us Easter eggs or answering questions felt like wasted time. We wanted to see those things all the time.
We want character building, but
Yep.
that was not a character building.
And that's my
scene.
biggest problem. Yeah, the environment was weird, but the thing that bugged me the most is that none of that mattered. You introduced two characters.
It felt forced.
It was
really
it was a
forced.
war
intended.
politics subplot. Like it was
Yeah.
just like, really? Did you have
I
to?
thought we got away from politics in Star Wars. I was
Yeah,
really
and
hoping for
then
that.
they kind of like the message in there was like, "Oh yeah, that's
it's
bad."
like we're gonna like
no duh.
like of course it's bad, but we
See-
don't need to be told that it's bad because we know that it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like slavery or like animal cruelty and all that stuff. And then they let these animals go, and they're like, all right, now it's worth it. I was like, no. They're gonna round those up, and then they're gonna use them all over again. So
Yeah.
you guys escaped.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, you didn't really.
The
do
only thing that seemed mildly interesting to me is when he said, "Oh yeah, by the way, these people get rich off both sides of the war."
That's
so
true. I thought that was
however, they just tossed that in there, never touched it again.
Yeah.
If they made that whole experience about both sides of the war and basically the economics behind that, that might have been interesting, but they didn't do that. They did this whole thing of, oh, we got to escape. Oh, we're bumping into these characters that they don't do very and also the relation between Finn and Rose just did not hit well at all. You
I
know?
would have
Okay,
been.
here's the
I would have
thing.
been
Can I-
so much.
Can I say
Go
something?
ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her sister was so much cooler than her, and her sister had like 3 minutes of screen time.
I will
didn't
say
mind Rose.
I like the first interactions that they had when they were on the
That
ship.
was okay.
That was
okay.
good. So
Yeah,
it
that was
started out
fun.
promising.
Yeah.
But as soon as they went to this other planet, all of that was gone.
It was really just boring.
Yeah.
And then one of the things that like really actually made me mad watching the movie was when they are trying to destroy the big the big battering ram gun. Is that what it's called?
Like the Death Star laser
yeah,
thing?
I'm like, that's
I
so
thought it was
stupid.
cool, actually.
Okay, it's cool.
I was like,
but
that's
just the
kind of like
name
one of
is
those
dumb.
full circle
so
things.
when they were trying to destroy that, and then she takes away that moment where Finn is like, all right, we were actually thinking, oh my gosh, Finn might die, and that
Wow,
would be really powerful.
yeah,
I was
exactly.
like, this would be amazing. Even though he was just like shown, like he's actually doing something that's worthwhile, and I really like that. And then she flies in and hits him out of the way, and then he comes and gets her out, and he's like, why do you do that?
I guess there are no real stakes here.
Yeah.
So she says a line, and
because she's not even dead.
Yeah,
like, I
she's
thought
not-
she
not
at
dead.
least
Like, are you
died. She's
still
still alive.
Yeah, if she died, then that
So-
would have been... Because then her message would have hit home.
She's-
One of their messages wanted to hit home, and neither of them did.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. They just both missed.
she
Like,
says a line in it, and it's like, we're not going to win this war by killing the things we hate.
have to love people to death!
But saving the people we love. And I keep thinking about that meme of Han Solo just saying, that's not how war works.
we're gonna win the war by loving people.
And then she kisses him, and right when she's kissing him, the door that they were trying to protect for 10 minutes blows up behind them, and it's supposed to be a magical scene. No, they were trying to protect that with their lives. How dare you? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think just in general, it just
Sorry,
felt
guys.
so disingenuine. You know, I didn't like
That
it.
felt forced.
well,
And then not only
with-
that, I just hope that they at least play off the thing that Finn obviously didn't look like he was asking.
he was
for
not
that
enjoying
kiss.
that kiss.
Please make that actually purposeful,
yeah,
and not by accident.
Not everybody has to fall in love and become a
Exactly.
couple.
Please be like, hey, I'm not exactly sure what I think about this. Clearly, he's into
and we can
Rey.
deal with our
Let's
first
face it,
awkward
guys.
relationship in Star Wars.
Let a first awkward relationship.
Well, I just need to make some
You seen
like
Anakin?
a
Your
like.
skin is not like sand. It's smooth and soft.
Oh,
Who talks
yeah.
like that?
But I meant awkward in like a non-reciprocal way. Like,
We don't. Nobody needs that. That's boring. Oh, okay.
I mean,
have you guys noticed
Someone
that?
Yeah.
can relate to
Have
it
you guys-
though. What about the cosplay scene?
Have
Come
you
on,
guys,
guys.
Jeez. Have you guys noticed that most of the relationships in Star Wars are pretty broken? It's like Padme and Anakin Skywalker.
I don't like that. Like, why does it always just be like that?
Yeah,
like,
just like Han Solo and
At
Leia.
least
I
Beru
understand.
and Owen, like, you know, were still married when
Yeah.
they burned to a crisp. So that
I
was nice,
understand that it.
I guess.
I understand that it came
This
to
is
that
fine.
result.
This is
fine,
fine.
'cause we're
Literally,
We're
Uncle
saving the
Owen.
ones we
And
love.
this is fine.
Like, I understand that. I understand why it became that way for Leia and Han. Leia's a narcissist, and
Leia's a narcissist.
yes, and Han Solo's a douchebag. So I mean, put those together, and they're not going to stay together for very long. But like, I was still disappointed. I was like, man, you know, like nobody
too.
stays together in Star Wars, and the people that do shouldn't like.
Yeah. What?
Are we going to touch on the fact that, I don't know, is it a thing between Kylo and Rey? What do you guys think?
Well, I'll
maybe
transition this into my first and second impressions because
Okay.
my first impression was because first off, I was the last one to watch it out of the three of us. We all actually didn't watch it together, which is weird because we were planning to. And
I
it just
know.
didn't
You were
work out.
mad because Wesley watched it before
Yep.
you.
In fact, Wesley ditched me, calling you out. You ditched me. I understand the hype, but yeah, but both of these guys came back underwhelmed, and I was really pumped for this movie, and that brought me down a few notches. And I'm like, oh, okay, but that was good because honestly, it ended up making me like the movie because I'm going into it like really
With
concerned.
lower expectations.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
yeah, and I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. And then because you said like, oh, it's really confusing, I was like watching it like a hawk. I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm making sure that I analyze everything that's going on. And there was a couple like still little things that need to be clearing up, but just normal stuff that you find every time you see a movie for the first time, you know, like the whole thing with Luke's end. The things that really stood out for me first time watching was Kylo and Rey and how strong their performances were this movie.
I love me some Kylo Ren.
Okay, yeah. Me too.
Wow.
No, but okay. Kylo Ren everywhere.
He's
my
buddy.
No, I think they really fleshed out Kylo Ren's character more in this one. It was interesting because in the first one, like he's the intimidating, like really scary, evil bad guy.
Literally the predecessor of Lord Vader.
Yeah, his acting is so good too. Yeah, like every time he gets raises his voice, I'm like, whoa! Like when he was like traitor in the first one, and then
it was terrifying when he had the mask on.
Yeah, well, and then when he talks to Rey, and he's like, you're still holding on to stuff. Like it's just like.
Yeah,
it grabbed me both times.
Okay.
It reached me. It moved me. Whatever you want. All right.
Yeah, but like, it was interesting seeing how much his character evolved from the first movie to the second one. Because in this one, you actually start to feel a little bit more for him. Like you're like, oh my goodness, this guy is basically broken. Like he's trying to live up to what his grandfather was. He wants to be powerful, and he has this like crazy old man who's trying to make him into something.
Literally have Snoke calling him out like. Dude, lose the stupid mask.
And it was not stupid. It only looked stupid in episode 8 because he had the cowl off and it was just a little bit different.
He is so much farther gone than Vader was. I think so. I think so.
He seems like he's pretty far gone.
At least
he's
mentally.
A lot more conflicted.
He was a lot more conflicted.
Actually, I think he's more certain about what he's doing.
Here's the thing.
He killed Snoke and he's like... I'm doing this.
Okay, but here's another thing. I feel like he's making his own version of the dark side now. Like... Because he literally rejected what Snoke wanted for him. It's like, I'm going to do my own thing with Rey. Rey doesn't want in? That's too bad.
That Darth Vader didn't do. Like,
yeah, exactly. Vader never killed Palpatine. I mean...
Well, he did.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute.
That was not until... Quality.
Yeah, it was a redeeming quality. He's done it out of, like, I'm going further down the hole. Like, I'm digging my hole deeper. I've just killed Snoke. I'm all in.
This was basically what we wanted to see in Star Wars Episode 3. Like, Anakin Skywalker turning to the dark side, seeing him just go down.
Though.
It was pretty okay.
I was satisfied.
But in these movies, like you see the conflict. At first we see him as like, oh, he's a really bad guy, and then we start to see him as a character, and then you just like see his character moving forward, and then you see his interactions with Rey, which honestly was probably my favorite part of the movie. At first I did not really like I feel bad saying it, but I didn't like Daisy Ridley's performance in the first couple of scenes because they felt really wooden when she was talking to Luke Skywalker. But then once she started interacting with Kylo Ren, I thought that it just became much more natural. There was a lot of chemistry there. I really appreciated that. And
yeah, and what I really like is that this, because a big complaint was about the Force Awakens was how, he's a wuss. You know, as soon as everyone was like, man, he's a badass and it's awesome. And then he took off his helmet and he's like, ha! This guy
he's a regular guy.
Yeah, he's just like a wuss. And that took everybody. But this makes so much more sense now after seeing his motivations here. And he's literally a Vader wannabe. Like, that's literally what he is. And yeah, he has a family tie, but he's literally trying to be someone who, he's trying to find himself. You know?
That was actually the original concept.
I stopped seeing him as a Vader wannabe late into episode 7. That was the initial idea. He's got to live up to his grandfather. I stopped seeing him as pretty early on. I could see that this was his own darkness.
And I think that's
true. This was his own mission. But
I think this was it was them sending the clear message. Look. This is his transitioning, moving on to his own storyline here. And then right after that, it switched right into his interactions with Rey, which was fascinating.
Yeah. So I want to share an interesting... I don't know where this came from, but I read it online. It makes a lot of sense. So some people online were talking about how why didn't Rey... She woke up before Kylo Ren on the spaceship. After they broke the lightsaber and caused all the... She woke up before him and escapes. Why didn't she just kill him and it'd be all over then? She had the perfect shot. Someone came up with this idea that a whole scene that could have been in the movie that wasn't, that I actually think would have been really powerful is, she goes... She picks up Kylo Ren's lightsaber. She walks over to his body just lying there unconscious on the floor. She gets ready to go for it, and then she remembers Luke's story and what he did, and it's literally the same thing, and she just puts it down and she walks away.
Stop.
She feels ashamed.
Yeah, she feels ashamed, she was about to do the same thing that Luke almost did.
Well, she definitely was conflicted too.
Yeah,
because you had Luke being a grump and making it hard for her to see the appealing side of the light side, basically.
Yeah, but it's just the same thing that she got mad at Luke for, she was about to do. And I don't know if that if that was just an idea that somebody had that they thought should have been in the movie.
That
But I
would've
think
been
that's
really cool, actually.
I think that would have been really powerful.
I think one of the biggest takeaways I have from this movie in general, even from the first viewing and the second viewing, just really confirmed that, was I like that this movie had a theme, and that theme was all the characters' mistakes. There was I freaking
There was a lot of mistakes in this movie.
Yeah, I loved what the scene with Poe Dameron and the bombers, and then him being like, "Yay, we destroyed the big ship, but we lost all the bombers, but that wasn't as important to him." And Leia's like, "You messed up."
Yeah.
Like, people have argued that the punishment wasn't harsh enough. That's regardless of the point, because I'm too busy emotionally taking that in, because after those people died, and like you see the scene with Leia looking at the screen and you see
That
like,
was
all,
actually
that hurt me. I was like, that made me think like, Poe, was that the right thing to do? Like I never thought I would question like the good guys that much.
Like,
I was like,
we don't always think about all the people who like die in the Star Wars movies. Like, oh great, there's more losses. Like that sucks. But in this one, like you actually started to feel things for the character, like the Resistance when they were attacking the First Order. You're like, there's not a lot of them there, and they're giving it their all.
Flip Gary.
Yeah,
We're gonna keep talking about Star Wars.
yeah, because too much to contain in one segment, so two segments of Star Wars.
So. Yeah. Star Wars Part 2.
Yeah, it was. I think it was really powerful. Also, let's face it, Poe was a fantastic character in this movie. I liked him in the first one.
Freaking
Second
loved
one,
him.
He's just so much cooler.
I like Poe. Yeah,
I loved his. I think the fact
Oscar
of
Isaac is awesome.
Yeah,
Anyway,
adding these.
He has the whole
human
cool persona.
Yeah, adding these mistakes really broadened out his character more than just some cool pilot dude.
Yeah,
and now I'm just like, I'm all about this guy. Like, I see where he's coming from in his mentality. Is like, he wants to be the hero and he will do anything to do what he thinks is right. But guess what? The reality is that you're not always the right. Like, you're not always in the right, you know? And they showed that time and time again. I thought that was like so, and I love how it wasn't just one example and then he learned his lesson. Like, no, that was an entire movie process of him relearning that lesson.
Like, because Leia sticks it to him in the end.
Yeah.
You know, like,
What's the name of the Admiral lady with the pink hair? Admiral Holdo?
Yeah, Admiral Holdo. Admiral should have been another character.
Admiral, don't care who you are.
I wish it would have been
Admiral
Akbar.
Admiral
or something.
Please.
Like,
yes.
they even mention it. It's like, come on.
You could have done
Disney,
something.
you know at this point that the Star Wars fandom is attached to Admiral Akbar. Like,
love it.
it's a trap. Like, come on. Like,
that is iconic.
And then you send him away with like a simple throwaway line, like, yeah, we lost everybody on the bridge, including Admiral Akbar, so and so, and then you just move on with the movie. It's like, all right, we just
fish people.
Yeah,
How dare
Star
you.
Wars fans just lost a character they care about, and he only got named in passing. Like,
darn right.
He could have been he could have been that character.
I would have looked at those big fish eyes when he would fly through the stars.
No, don't mention that.
I would have cried.
Even worse than that porg scene.
Yeah. Oh, I love porgs.
Just think like the old. I'm visualizing it right now. Just like Admiral Akbar turning the ship towards the other ship. Just like a moment of silence, just music, and then just slowly pans close to his fish-like face, and like you can't see a lot of emotion in it, but you can see those eyes, and you can just see like him just accepting his fate and then flying through the ship. That would have been so powerful. But no, it was a character who we were introduced in this movie, and she was a really crappy admiral.
She had funny looking hair.
She was messed up because she would not just explain the situation to Poe, so he led what was it? Insurrection, whatever.
A coup.
Yeah, against her, and then it's like, oh, it's just a big misunderstanding. I did not like her character. I'm ranting right now. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Guys, we need a porg for our...
Yeah.
Do we need a porg?
I love porgs. We need a couple of them.
Okay, I wanted to hate them. I did.
I was mad when I first saw them. I was like, I don't like
I was kind of
things.
like, oh, that's a money grab, but they're
a-
so cute.
They're a little bit better off.
The scene with Chewbacca, come on.
That was
so
fantastic,
good.
though.
That was so
Although,
good.
they're-
I wish he actually ate the thing.
You know why they came up with porgs? There were so many puffin penguins on the island that they're like, we just can't get rid of them. They're everywhere. So they decided to like put the porgs in their place everywhere where there's puffin penguins while they were filming.
That's cute.
Yeah, so like there was a practical reason for them being there. Like, we gotta replace it with Star Wars. We can't get rid of all of
And
them.
while we're talking about the island, I'd like to touch more on Luke Skywalker and how this impacts our view of the entire series as a whole and the Skywalker family.
Luke will be back as a Force ghost in episode 9. I'm
Absolutely.
calling
I
it.
hope so.
Let's talk about that scene with him showing down on Kylo Ren and the fact that
I have an explanation about the blue lightsaber.
go for it.
So we had been talking about like why the blue lightsaber. Like, like
Why not the green lightsaber?
Us as the fans are like,
Yeah,
okay,
why didn't he
Luke's
have his
lightsaber's
lightsaber,
green.
you
We
know?
know that.
And risk giving it
they
away to Kylo.
Yeah,
that,
and they
you
just
know.
destroyed the blue lightsaber. But I was reading another article, and it was the director Rian Johnson who explained it. He was like, so Luke had total control over what the projection looked like, and Luke picked the blue lightsaber because, first of all, if you go back to the scene where they break the lightsaber, neither one of them actually see the lightsaber break. They see a flash of light and then boom, they're unconscious.
True.
So he's like, neither one of them know for sure that the lightsaber's broken, first of all. Second of all, in the first movie, he screams at Rey and says, that's my lightsaber. So like it has a stronger emotional connection.
That's true, because it was
Kylo.
his first.
Yeah. So it's just another thing that Luke used to get an emotional response out of Kylo Ren's like, I have this lightsaber.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do now? It's mine first.
Yeah. So,
true.
But the thing that did
I
it for me
paid
was
a
like,
hand for
yeah,
this.
you know, we don't know for sure that they knew the lightsaber was broken. Like, so.
Yeah. Luke Skywalker, like at that scene, I was really looking forward to a showdown, and like I know he was talking to Rey about like, what do you think I'm gonna do? Just walk out and fight the entire First Order with a laser sword? And then I was like, yeah, I want to see
kind
that,
of.
please.
Yeah.
So he walks out and was like, this is finally happening, and I was waiting for the lightsaber battle, and he started evading Kylo Ren, and
Which was still kind of really cool,
yeah,
honestly.
but like I was watching
Yeah,
it,
it
and
was.
I was just disappointed. I'm just like, can you guys fight,
Yeah.
please? And watching it a second time, I appreciated that he projected himself with the Force. Like it made the Force feel much more powerful, and it like fleshed it out more.
William and I talked about this. It was kind of like, because at first I was like, why did they overcomplicate that? Like, he was gonna die anyway. Why didn't he just go instead
they
of making
explained
this
the
like
second
complicated like Force
Second
thing?
time watching it, yeah.
The second time watching it, I realized it was more kind of like, and William actually originated this idea, and I thought about it, is that like it was more of a I'm gonna go out on my own terms kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like
Like, he knows that the
I've
projection
decided.
will kill him.
Yeah, I've decided that this is gonna be the last thing that I do. So like it's gonna be me that ends this, not
'Cause
you.
you know that
you
was-
won't get the satisfaction.
He wouldn't have been
like,
able to go over there anyway because
Yeah.
he didn't have any shit.
Right, but I look at
That's
it
where
is
it's
that he
broken.
took a page out of Obi-Wan's book
Yeah.
because he watched that whole experience and what that did for him, literally, and which is cool because I think that in this whole storyline of Luke literally rejecting everything that makes him, he pulled something from somebody else and not from himself because he trusts that more, which I think is cool. And when he did that, that was just the whole thing of just like he let Kylo make that choice of whether to kill him or not, and he did that, and then yet still left him with that. Is like, but it doesn't matter anyways because I'm still here and you won't be able to decide my fate. And like that was that final lesson right there, and I was like, dang.
It's like,
and
I
then,
will not be the last of the Jedi
right,
either.
and the fact that he went out on his own terms is just the final nail in the coffin because Kylo will never get that.
Yeah,
I
and
love
because
how
and
sassy
at the end he goes, "See you around, kid."
I was like, yes.
that, and that was my other like, yeah, he's gonna be there's gonna be a Force ghost in Episode
And
9. Like
watching all that, now that I knew what was going to happen, and really taking in his switching over to the Force Ghost thing, it was really emotional because something I didn't realize at first is that they use Luke's original theme when they see him back, and you see the two. I remember seeing the two sunsets,
Yeah.
but then I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
I was so
that's
like
literally
disoriented by the previous scene. that I
Yeah.
didn't really even register what was
But
going
man,
on.
when I watched it for the second time, I almost cried because it was so
Yeah.
like meaningful.
you know, and now that I think
so
about
well
it,
done.
considering that you have to tell Luke's story 30 years removed from his prime, it was a good way to do it. Like you're forced to communicate the end of a character. Like so I think they did it pretty well considering. The reason I think most people, including ourselves, were disappointed at the get-go is we don't see it as his end, we see it as the next time we get to see him. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
forget that we missed the whole
So much.
the whole middle of his life.
Yeah.
That we'll get to see in some form of medium.
Going back to Force Ghosts, we got Yoda again in this movie.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
which
I
was
was
so
so
happy. That was
happy.
gonna happen.
And original Yoda, not CG Yoda.
It's the puppet Yoda.
I wasn't sure how I thought about his inclusion the first time. Like the first time I watched it, I was like, "Oh, it was Yoda!" Like I was excited on the outside, but then I was like,
Is he really?
why?
needed?
Yeah, like why? And
I
then
don't
he's like
care. I
knocking
loved it.
Luke on the head.
I didn't
and
know
I'm just
how he
like,
was
are
doing
you?
that.
I feel like that was
Are you like a physical being? Or are you
no,
not?
because I liked that because that was the time where we saw the Luke that we know in that moment. Because in that
he's-
moment
he's
he was
just
brought
like
back.
He
Yeah.
was such a he was the pupil again. We went
Yep.
straight back to episode 5, and Yoda's just like, you're not just this crude matter.
Yep.
You're more like the Force is more. And
And yeah, in that moment I was like, there's
I was
Luke.
like, there's
Yeah,
the Yoda that we all know
it
and
did
love.
grow on me. Second time I watched it, I was like, you know what, this is good. I
Well, like
this.
the last time we saw Yoda, it was episode 3, and that was a completely different Yoda from episode 4, 5, and 6. Like that was a more stern one. That was like a lightsaber wielding one. He wasn't the sort of troll, I guess, that he was in episode 5 and 6. And I love it. That's what I love seeing in this one. I'm just like, it's troll Yoda. He's just like whacking him on the head and being like,
so good.
you're gonna burn it down. Oh wait, you're not. That's fine. I'm just gonna like take some lightning and. That's not good.
Speaking
Force my decisions
Speaking
upon you.
of
Funny
Yoda.
joke. Funny joke.
Speaking of Yoda, we went kind of on a little small binge of Star Wars movies after seeing The Last
We
Jedi.
did.
Yeah.
And such an important thing that really ties this all together really nicely is that we were watching The Jedi Returns. And
You mean the
it-
Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
The
sorry.
Jedi Returns.
William just said the Jedi returns.
Shh.
I'm not proud of you.
One of
right
Yoda's
now.
last things that he said to Luke, that Luke was the last Jedi. Like, they literally pulled the name of
he
the
says,
movie.
and now you're the last of the Jedi. But then he tells him,
Yeah.
you know, pass on what you have learned.
Yeah.
And Yoda says
after-
that to him again. He's like,
after-
didn't you hear me when I said that?
Pass on what
So
you
after
Yeah.
seeing, like, seriously, watch that movie after seeing this new scene with Luke and Yoda.
The name of the movie was under our nose the whole time.
Or just watch all the like original movies, and then go back and watch.
But yeah,
Last
but
Jedi
like,
again.
if I want someone on YouTube to put those two clips together. The last time we see
well,
Yoda,
why
and
can't
Luke
it be you, William?
it's literally
Why can't Geek Kind have that first?
Literally the same scene because like Luke's on the ground, he's like, "This feels impossible," and Yoda's just like, "No." And then in the episode 8. Luke's on the ground. He's like, "You just blew up my tree," and Yoda's just like,
Yeah.
It's like pretty much the same scene.
It was just, and that just made it so amazing because it really tied
It
in
was
with
a
everything.
callback.
Yeah, it felt so right. You know,
Yeah.
after seeing that, I was like, yeah, that's Star Wars. You know,
That's the Star Wars that we wanted.
yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
so-
the heart of Star Wars that we were really looking forward to, and sometimes it fell flat in this movie. But the thing is about Star Wars is that it's always changing and evolving, and it's really hard for Star Wars fans.
This
to
movie
Alex-
took risks.
Yeah, and Alex and I were talking about this. We're like, do we really want to be those? Because like this
wanna be
this
those
is
fans.
Star Wars
Yeah.
for this this generation.
it's the next
People are on this.
generation.
Do we really want to be those grumpy people? Like when the prequel trilogy was coming out, like this isn't my Star Wars.
we
Like
were the prequel kids. Like
we were because
yeah,
for me, I've watched the prequels more than I've watched the originals. I had to have. I mean, like those were
more
those
accessible.
that was Star
And-
Wars when I was coming out. Like those are the
yeah, and like
that was
the originals.
exciting.
The originals are better, and we were just like. Literally the same thing happened when the prequels were coming out because the people who were fans of the originals were watching them. They were just like, "What is this? Is this Star Wars?" And yes,
Yeah.
it is. It's not amazing, but it is still Star Wars, and this is Star Wars too. It's just for the next generation.
Episode 3 is still I think it's my second or third favorite Star Wars movie still.
It's pretty good.
So like
It's good.
I like it.
prequels were not a failure; they were just different, and there's things about them that
Yeah.
They have
are
problems.
hard to
Yeah, all the movies
They're not
have
perfect, but
problems.
they were good. I liked
I
liked 2 of the 3
honestly,
of them.
I honestly think that we're gonna look back on the Last Jedi and seeing how what a big revelation for
Revelatory,
Star
yeah.
Wars in general.
Yeah.
Because there was so many complaints about the Force Awakens being too much like A New Hope, and frankly, I didn't
I
care
liked it.
because
It was comfortable
that-
for me.
exactly.
Like-
I know. I was like, X-wings.
I
didn't like the Star,
Can you
though.
imagine
Star
if
Base,
we
yeah,
had the
Star.
same feel from the Last Jedi
Yeah.
in place of the four? People would have flipped
if
But-
it was like the same as The Empire Strikes
right.
Back.
They knew that they had to play like. Praise J.J. Abrams. He knew what he was doing there, and I still think this because we needed that comforting take. And it's like, here,
Oh,
the
yeah,
Star Wars that
because-
you want is still here.
Because Episode 7 will forever be like that magical Star Wars is back like movie.
It's
so like
so
it
hard-
had to be
was-
it had to be comfortably familiar.
Well, it was like 10 years after our last Star Wars movie, and we're like, we don't know if we're going to get another one, and then we're
And
finally
yeah.
back.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, was that was wow. Wait,
That was
Force
my first time
Awakens.
watching a
Force
Star Wars-
Awakens was 15 or was it 16?
It was 15. 16 was Rogue
Wow.
One, and 17.
Yeah. So yeah, literally 10 years since episodes.
And that was
3.
my first Star Wars movie that I'd seen in theaters.
Wow.
Because the Clone Wars
Oh, yeah,
does not
that-
count. I did see that, but that was, like, it doesn't.
I
count.
saw episode 2 and 3 in theaters.
I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah,
I came to Star Wars late, so episode 2 was.
Well, yeah,
I remember seeing.
I explained all this in
the
a different
Clone Wars
podcast.
on like cereal boxes and stuff.
I would have
How's
seen,
that?
because I remember seeing all the stuff for Star Wars 3, and I would have seen it except for the fact that that one was the one that was rated PG-13. So
It was the first PG-13 movie I ever watched. I begged my dad.
Really?
And we went and saw it together. So
good on him.
He was like, "Well, it's Star Wars. Let's go for it."
Nice.
You're a big boy. How old was I? I was like 10.
Yeah, I like it makes sense that it took a lot of risks there, and I think for the most part it paid off. And I think the thing that didn't work well with this movie was the part that I feel like they played safe with. Ironically, they kind of slacked off in that whole Rose and Finn's. It just felt lazy. It didn't feel like there was a lot of thought put into it.
I would have liked it more if they had used a more familiar setting. Like, I'm not opposed to them making new settings,
Yeah,
but if
absolutely.
they want to try a storyline like that, why couldn't it have taken place in like Cloud City or something?
That would've been
Seriously,
really
that would have been
cool.
cool
because they are higher end like people in Cloud City.
Yeah, they even wanted to use Lando as that character. Which I understand why they didn't, because they said their reasoning behind it was, we think Lando would have had a better moral compass and to not do that. What the guy ended up doing.
That's fair.
betraying them,
Yeah.
which is fair, but it still could have taken place in Cloud City.
Yeah.
And I think that would have made me like it more.
And stuff in
Exactly.
or something.
What do
Yeah,
you think
so
about the official character name is DJ, but the meaning of his name is "Don't Join"?
Yeah.
What do you think about him?
I didn't know that actually.
I don't mind him. I love Benny. I love his
Yeah.
actor. So yeah.
I loved his acting, and I feel like he definitely did the best that he could for what he was given, which wasn't much.
I didn't like his stutter though. That was a little bit off. But I did like that he was kind of like just like a sleazy, weirdo. He wasn't really on anybody's
I was
side.
confused at first. I was like, "Wait, is he really the code breaker?" And like
Yeah,
they were
like-
looking for him in the
is
wrong
he the one
place.
that-
I guess they just found him by chance.
They found
and
a
he's
random guy
just
who's-
another guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I can also crack
Maz
code,
messed up. She's like,
Yeah.
there's only one guy who I know who can do that. No, there's another guy too.
Also, wait, no, that's different.
Okay, yeah.
I had a theory about Rey's parentage.
Well,
that was another thing. Is I was
We haven't
initially
talked about Rey and Snoke.
I was
Rey and
initially disappointed. Let me just preface this by saying, all in all, after my second viewing of The Last Jedi, I really, really liked it. So,
Yeah.
with that said,
we are all in consensus that
Yeah.
it was a good movie.
It was pretty good.
I disliked it upon my first viewing, and after thinking about it for a while and seeing it again, I really, really like it.
Because it literally, from that scene where Luke throws the lightsaber, it was in that moment where I laughed to myself and says,
This
Luke-
isn't going to be
Luke,
the same.
The lightsaber was literally the embodiment of what everyone expected of the movie, and Luke threw it away. That's literally...
This is what you want it to be.
And literally...
is this what you want? Oh.
And that's exactly what I felt like.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this literally changes everything I expected from the movie,
exactly.
and it's thrown away. And so I just sat back and just like, all right, let's
Here we
do
go.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like,
So Rey, I was initially disappointed in the reveal or lack thereof of Rey's parentage, where Kylo basically says, "You're nothing. You don't even belong in this story. You're nobody." And I was just like,
we're sitting in the theater.
I was like, really? But the more I thought about it, the more I realized Snoke even admits to planting those thoughts in their heads, like creating that connection, and then planting those things that they claim to see about each other. So there's that. First of all, we don't even know that what Kylo claims to have seen about her is even true. Second of all, we don't know that he knows who her parents are.
yeah.
So like he could have totally been manipulating her at that point.
Absolutely.
And I don't
Right.
believe I think he was lying to her. I don't think he knows who her parents are. I think
Right.
he was trying to break her down and manipulate her to join,
Because
to
he needs-
appeal to her emotionally.
Right. Because I think it could have been something, or he could have totally known and just given the wrong answer. So like he could have lied because he doesn't know, or he could have lied because he does know, and was like, look, I wanted you to join me, and because you didn't join me, so that was kind of just like, fine, if you're not going to join me, I'm going to tell that your parents were freaking junkers.
A parallel theory to that IGN actually came up with, and I'm going to steal because I really like it, was that suppose Maz found the lightsaber with Luke's hand still attached, which is not totally unrealistic. When you die, your body goes limp, and it So say she finds the lightsaber with the hand still attached to it, and she uses the DNA to clone Luke.
Maz does
so
that?
yeah, it uses DNA to clone Luke. So the reasons why this could be possible is when she goes into the cave and she touches the thing, boom, there's tons of her. What does that mean? Maybe it means that
I think
she's
it's
a
her
clone.
past and her future, though.
It could be, but maybe it means that she's like one in many clones or whatever. Also
be
that, and
messed up.
she has a connection to this lightsaber. She knows who it belongs to. She knows who's had it, and then she's like, and now it calls out to you, as if like there's a clear line of
Right.
succession, like this is in the family or something.
And so in my side to that is that I'm still going with the thing that Rey and Kylo are siblings.
That's
and
possible, too.
The thing that really I'm hanging on to from this movie, because I feel like there's almost less to support for that now, but there is something that still really intrigues me, is that Snoke, quote unquote, made the connection between Kylo and Rey. However, after Snoke is gone, you clearly see that they still had that connection. So
Yeah, that's
whether
true.
they are
And-
hanging on to that just because they want to, or it's because it's more than just Snoke. Like, maybe Snoke could only do it because they're related.
Maybe he initiated
But
it and then they're able to control it afterwards.
If she's a clone too, him saying to her that her parents were nobody would only be like a half lie. Like it would be half true.
That's true. And then I will say that you brought up the scene with in the cavern where she's seeing all the duplicates of herself, and so I
I'm
guess
just saying
that
it's possible. And it would be neat. Another thing that was said was that, hold on, is that so another name for the Star Wars story altogether is the Skywalker saga. Like it's about them. They were saying that it would be a really dark turn for Star Wars if the only remaining because obviously Leia won't be in the next movie. They'll find a way to respectfully let her go. So it would be a really dark turn for Star Wars to have the only remaining Skywalker be evil. Like that means 2 out of the 3 generations of Skywalkers were evil. So
Can you
like
imagine?
you have a saga about the dark side basically. Like Rey has to be tied to this family somehow.
Could you imagine if Rey ends up being related, and then the last movie is Rey defeating Kylo, but only to have her turn to the dark side at the end, and that's what
That
we're
would
left
even be
with?
more. I
That'd
don't
be terrible.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think I
they'll
like
do
that.
But
Crap.
another thing is, for those of us who are familiar with the previous canon before the movies came out,
Legends,
obviously
expanding
Kylo Ren is supposed to be a lot like Jason Solo, who does turn to the dark side, and people have pointed out that Rey is like she might as well be the spitting image of Jaina Solo, Jason's twin sister.
Yeah.
So they could be related that way too, which would be cool.
I do like they're taking some stuff from the old lore and then putting it in this. That's pretty cool.
Like I don't mind him being called Ben Solo, even though in the previous canon Ben was Luke's kid.
That's honestly what I was thinking about when Star Wars Episode 7 was coming out. Like I watched it and I was just like, what is his name though? I was like, seriously, Jason, that's how I see him. And then Han Solo screamed Ben, and I'm like, well, no, I'm okay with this.
Cool. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah,
that's
because
okay.
And then Luke does kind of take him as his his own I took my sister's kid for.
Let's be honest, Han Solo doesn't seem like the very fatherly type.
No. Yeah. So he uncles him and
which also makes sense because
messes up.
Luke wasn't had a disconnection with his parents, and I feel like those kind of people feel more.
It's a broken family.
Yeah, those kind of people who don't
Screwing up
have
the
like
galaxy
strong
one
parents.
generation at a time.
Pretty much. One of my coworkers said this movie should have been called Star Wars: The Last Daddy Issue.
Ow. Why is that so true?
But yeah, I'm really last thought being for me after coming out this is that they really, it may not seem like it, but they kind of tied up the plot line in a way where we are much more focused on what we have to look forward to in this last movie. I think we had a lot of questions going into this one, but I think this movie told us, we don't really care about those questions. You want to know the heritage of every character? Who cares? That will be trickled down.
Yeah,
and
we can hear about that.
Yeah,
somewhere
exactly.
else.
And I think it's because we're used to Star Wars, the heritage being so crucial.
Yeah.
So they're kind of
especially
toying with
us three from a generation where all the cool stuff we were learning about Star Wars wasn't even in the movies.
Yeah.
We forget that the movies only communicated so much, and
We learned
holes
from
were
the
filled
books
in.
mostly.
We were expecting the movie to have no holes,
Yeah.
that needed to be filled in otherwise.
Also, a very interesting thing is that I haven't read it, but I think in the Star Wars novel of The Force Awakens, when Ben Skywalker or Ben Solo kills Han Solo, it says that he, instead of feeling more powerful, he actually felt weaker after killing his own father, and then that is actually shown in this movie, and I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Because Snoke, literally, said he's like, all right, there's still conflict in you. even though
Yeah,
you killed
he
Han Solo."
wasn't impressed
was not
at
happy.
all
Mhm.
that so you killed Han Solo. Big whoop is basically what he said.
It's
You
like,
know,
you're still not doing good enough. You
Yeah.
got beat by a junk trader.
I like that. I like that they brought that up because people were complaining. He's like, "How did Rey beat and even Snoke brought
Yeah,
it
it's
up.
like-
even Snoke's
I
just
like-
What gives,
Yeah.
man?
Yeah, I
Come
like how they
on.
acknowledged that fact. So obviously there's reason for it if they acknowledged it, which
Yeah.
I like.
Mhm.
So
I'm glad that happened. And Snoke, while he wasn't a perfect character, I did like the scenes with him. I thought they were very interesting.
and just
You know-
like you said with Luke, that section being taken out, there's
Mhm.
plenty of room for us to learn more about Snoke.
Yeah, and he was pretty much the same character as Emperor Palpatine.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, without the
Not
prequels,
dis-
because the prequels
yeah,
was
I'm
literally
not disappointed
Palpatine's
anymore.
entire
yeah,
learning curve.
we can
yeah.
get more backstory from the books that are going to come out.
yeah. So if you guys are okay with moving on,
Yeah.
we will shift from one sci-fi saga to another. I'm going to talk to you guys about the Halo TV series.
See, I haven't heard about this yet until you told me. So what is...
Yeah.
I heard about it a while ago.
I'm gonna
and
pull
then,
something up real
totally
quick.
fell off the radar.
Well, so
Who's making it?
so it's going to be on Showtime.
Showtime. Interesting.
Showtime. It was only last week that I had that people started talking about it again because let me just find it real quick so my information's accurate. Showtime announced or made it public that the TV show at this point is still in active development. So it's gonna be produced by Steven Spielberg
Ooh.
and Neil Blomkamp is rumored to direct the pilot for this series. He directed the movie about the robot called Chappie. I don't know if you guys
I
have
saw
seen-
that one.
He directed that. He directed Elysium, the
Yeah,
one
he
with
also did,
the one with Matt
District
Damon, and he's
9.
got the exoskeleton
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
and
yeah,
District
yeah.
9.
Yeah, District 9.
So
Those-
he's got some experience with
futuristic
some pretty
aesthetic. That
and
was
they were
really
pretty
good.
popular. So that's coming out. It was originally announced May 21st, 2013. So now we're hearing again, 4 years later, 5 years later,
I hope it's actually
that
happening
it's
now. Is it in
it's
production?
an active development.
Okay.
Is what they said. So it's
So-
on the way.
Has Spielberg ever produced any other TV shows?
I
he-
don't know.
Wait, he didn't do Band of Brothers because that was Tom Hanks, right? Did he?
Maybe.
Did he?
So
I don't remember.
I don't it. Just is just his filmography, so I don't know.
All I know is that if Steven Spielberg is going to be a part of it, then there's going to be some
There's
quality.
yeah.
So yeah, that's coming. What do you guys want to see from that? Because there's the whole question of where in the Halo timeline is it going to
Yeah.
take place? What characters
What's
is
the
it going to
story?
involve? Yeah,
Well, you especially are a huge Halo fan.
I was a pretty big.
I
Yeah.
grew up on it too. Halo 2 was my first M-rated game I ever played, and I grew up playing
Halo Reach was
an
my
original.
first one.
Yeah, and I didn't grow up with I didn't grow up owning a PlayStation 2. Should I say all my friends owned PlayStation 2s?
Yeah.
I grew up with the original Xbox.
Mm.
So Halo 1 and 2 were some of my first first-person shooters that I ever played.
Mhm.
Halo Reach is to this day my favorite Halo game and one of my favorite video games. Period.
Yeah. It was pretty
So
good.
yeah, you have a history with Halo. So
I played a fair amount of it. I haven't played the newest one, Halo 5. I think
mhm.
I played.
it was good.
I played
was good.
Reach, and then I think I played 4, and then I played 3 and ODST, and then I was like, it's been back and
Yeah,
forth. So.
they're so. For those of you who don't know, Halo was created and was originally run by Bungie, a video game developer,
Mhm.
and when they decided that they didn't want to do Halo anymore, they had to leave Microsoft because that's all Microsoft wanted them to do. But a core group from Bungie branched off and created 343 Industries, which is run by Microsoft. So now they're in control of Halo, and since then they've taken the scale of Halo and they've like expanded it. So like the story is much like more out there, basically. Like the lore is a little bit deeper, and so like the original trilogy of the games dealt with more like human issues, more from the human side, and now that 343's taken over, it's taken more of a like larger scale. Like the chief is talking more, and he's like involved with this like the forerunners, like the people who were only rumored and hinted at beforehand. Now he's like face to face with them.
It's interesting that you said that, because I felt like they weren't just focusing on the humans in Halo 2, especially because that was the one when we started to see a lot more of the Arbiter. Like we were literally actually playing as him.
True.
So we saw a lot from his perspective and their cultures and what they believed, like the entire Covenant, like them and their religion and everything. It was really cool to see that, and yeah, I'm really curious about what's going to happen in this new TV show.
I would like to see. I think well, they might have a more creative idea than I do, but I think the only obvious place I can think of so far for it to take place would be the fall of Reach, because you could tell a big story out of that.
Or maybe they might want to do Master Chief, in which case they could maybe do a telling of Halo 1, like with the first Halo.
Yeah.
Maybe.
See, now personally, I always thought Halo would do better as a movie. Something that had a beginning and end.
Video game movies, though.
Yeah, but I actually think Halo
them.
would have done well as a video game movie, because it's pretty similar to other things that have been successful.
Yeah,
so,
I guess so.
Not in the vein of Assassin's Creed or Mario Bros. Or anything like that.
I still haven't seen Assassin's Creed.
I own it, so I mean you can watch it.
Was it any good?
Yeah, it was okay. I fell asleep. I haven't finished it yet.
So it was a good nap movie.
Yeah, it was a good nap movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I guess a big question is that, do we want to see Master Chief, and if so, how do we want to see him?
It'd be hard.
Well, he's such a mysterious character.
Yeah, Master Chief was my favorite video game character for a long time. He's so like strong and motivated and convicted about things. Like he doesn't change his mind. Like he's a very like you can trust him with you can follow him. Like he's a leader and you trust him with the decisions that he makes.
The only person he's really close to is the AI Cortana.
Yeah.
I've referenced John Wick before on the podcast, and I love how they told their story with basically you jumping into a point of John Wick's life where it's after the like presumed like first movie almost, and you're just jumping in, and then you learn about John Wick, not by John Wick, but about from all the characters around him, and that mysteriousness about him, and even by the end of the movie, you still don't know that a lot about him. Yeah, and that but made him so much more powerful because everyone was scared. Like they can do that same thing for Master Chief, have the main character be mysterious but power and obviously meaningful, and have all the character building for that character being supported by the characters around him.
Yeah. Now before Halo 4, it wouldn't really have been possible for him to be a main character in like a movie or TV show like that, because he didn't talk a whole lot. But since Halo 4, Master Chief has talked a lot more. He's become more of like an outward character, more expressive character. So that could work. The reason I don't think they will choose to center the TV show around Master Chief is because there are very little to no holes in his story at this point. He's the main character of all the games except for Reach and ODST, and even then you see him in both of those games, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember if you see him in ODST, but you see him in Reach. You do see him in Reach.
You do?
Yeah, if you wait till the end, he's in the cryopod on the ship.
Oh, okay.
That you start Halo 1 on.
It's been a while since I played the game, so...
But that's the only reason I don't think they'll use him, is because there's no space enough in his life that hasn't been covered yet, where they would be limited in what new content they could create for the show if they chose to center it on Master Chief.
Also, the show would literally be hanging off of the success of Master Chief himself. If they do Reach, then they're going to be able to have a lot more characters. You're going to be able to have different personalities, and it's going to hang off of them instead of it just being all on the Master Chief's shoulders.
Another thing is the TV show could take place following Spartan 4's
Mm-hmm.
They were introduced in Halo 5, where it's basically the really exclusive super soldier serum that was used on Master Chief. They've now perfected and stabilized it, and they're like, because there were a few Spartans, because it was an unstable thing and it killed most of them. So they were very, very elite, like almost godlike. But now it's come a long way, and the program's larger.
Yeah, most people can be Spartans now.
Most people can be. So they could follow them. You know, people like that. I think that would be interesting.
What if they took the story in a perspective of the time after Master Chief, of almost like trying to find his successor?
Way far into the because it all depends on what they decide to do with the next game.
Is there another game coming out?
Oh yeah, I just don't know when.
Yeah, they haven't even. Xbox hasn't even hinted.
It's been a while. Halo 5 came out 2015, so
wow.
It's been 3 years and
Yeah, I didn't play it.
nothing. I know people are starting to forget about Halo, I think, which is unfortunate. I love Halo.
Well,
It was
they're
a really
becoming
good
more and more
multiplayer
similar.
game too.
What?
They're becoming more and more similar. Like, I think Reach was a nice diversion,
Yeah.
but then 5 was just kind of. It was. I liked 5 less than Reach, honestly.
Well, I did too. But
Reach was just fun 'cause it was like you were able to do so much that was different. Like you could literally make your own character.
Yeah,
I mean,
even
not only
4 before that.
Not only
was-
that, but the story was better too.
yeah,
It was basically the Suicide Squad of Halo.
yeah, it was. Well,
Spoiler alert.
Even more so, they all die. So
Yeah, literally all of them.
yeah, but no, like so Reach, and then there was Halo 4, which I was really excited about because I liked the idea of like, wow, we're going to explore this whole mysterious territory of like the Forerunners, and like they started everything, so it's like wow.
I really
And
appreciate
the Didact, the villain of Halo 4, was really interesting. I loved Halo 4 actually.
I appreciate how much lore and history they put into
Mhm.
well, basically any show or TV series or like books or anything. Like I really appreciate when they actually build the worlds.
Yeah.
Like we have the Halo rings, we have the Forerunners, we have the Covenant, we have the Flood, we have the humans, we have all this stuff, and they have so much that they're able to take from that and make it into a really good TV show.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm just wondering what they're gonna do.
Well,
with
it's just I was just thinking is like, you know, we've seen the video game movies don't work, but we haven't really tried video game TV shows because maybe they
Not
just
really.
need more time, like more actual screen
Video-
time.
Video games
miniseries.
have a denser, larger scope. I think. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
the story.
you need to have more time.
Yeah.
to
Because like, yeah,
explain.
you have like gameplay in games, but when you go through a game, you're spending like eight to
Yeah.
like 20 hours on a video game. That's a lot to condense into a movie.
Did you guys hear that Assassin's Creed is getting a TV show and it's going to be anime?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh man, dude,
That'll be
I'm gonna
cool.
watch that. That's
yeah,
gonna be good.
that'll be cool. I think
So
anime is a
could
good
we
choice.
Anime,
for-
then
this-
it's gonna look really, really cool.
So
Yeah.
this could be the start of a new
trend of like video
Right.
game TV shows, which would do video games a lot more justice.
And I think it makes sense now that we're seeing much there's been show after show that just shows that high production quality shows work well.
Movies, I think films in general are in a weird place right now. Like
Yeah.
it's harder to make a good movie now.
People have to sit through a longer amount of time, but you can't like
Yeah.
go back and forth with it. With TV shows, you can just
Not
stop
only
at a
that, but
point.
like we're the mark. Like people in general they're getting used to consuming large amounts of a medium at one time.
Yeah.
yeah,
So like you watch a movie and it has a story from start to finish. Either you think it didn't have enough or you want to see more, and they're not prepared to tell you more. So they come up with a half-botched sequel because you wanted it, and now it's not good anymore. So it's like, I don't know. I think we're getting used to the density of TV shows.
I'm actually okay
And-
with that. Like Stranger Things, Punisher, Daredevil. We're getting long.
I watch far more TV shows like
Oh,
on
yeah.
Netflix and stuff than I'm interested in movies. Like,
Yeah, I feel
This
like it's weird because I feel like I have to, consciously like make an effort to watch a movie.
yeah,
Like,
I
have
don't watch.
I have to be invested in it, but with a TV show, I'm just like, I'll go and I can come back.
I don't watch a lot of movies that are original ideas. I mean, I watch like superhero movies. I'm a horror film junkie, so I watch some of those. But yeah, I mean, for the most part,
Not to get too off topic, but maybe they should do something similar to what Black Mirror is doing. Because Black Mirror is a TV show that, it's kind of...
Halo would excel at that, actually.
Exactly, because it's
an
like...
anthology series where every episode is like an isolated
That
thing.
is really
that
cool.
would be a really cool idea for
Because all part of the
Halo.
same universe, because obviously Halo's a big universe.
Because then they could do a Master Chief episode.
And they could all be linked in some way.
Yeah, you could cover a little bit of his story. You know, like, it wouldn't be enough for a whole TV show of Master Chief, but you could, like, have an episode or two of him.
Almost that tease of it could be really exciting, where you find out, like, every episode, it has its own storyline, but then they put in just a little thing about Master Chief in this. Like, Master Chief is not in, but he's spoken about in every single episode.
That would be cool. Actually, that's my new favorite idea for this series.
Because I want to
like
say
that a lot.
We might talk about it on a podcast at some point, but Black Mirror's really changed how I look at TV shows.
I know.
It's high quality.
And my first thought upon watching Black Mirror, I was like, wow, everything they show you in each episode means something. Everything comes full circle. Like, from
well used.
Yeah, from a character's menial habit of like eating something or like a whatever, or like every plot in the show is rewarded or has an effect on the ending. Like, man,
and I think that show was really just showing the real stride of what TV shows are now having. That is that they're trying. They're really trying to be really clever and really using the lore and density that they can have. Whereas movies are almost slacking off, you know. And I think
they have to get it out there really fast.
Yeah, series like basically anything Disney can really like take advantage of the point that they'll always have an audience. But I think that movies are going to start to find out that they're going to have a lot more competition from somewhere that they're not used to having, you know?
Yeah, because even the Marvel Cinematic Universe is taking that kind of like episode by episode kind of thing where they know people are relying on seeing, you know, they're watching this, but they're already thinking about the one that's going to come next. So like, even their movies are in a TV show format. Like, it's just...
Yeah, it's true. That's the most...
You have to watch one, you have to watch them all.
The biggest series right now, like, you've got Avengers, DC, Star Wars. They're all, like, actual series that's playing on almost like episodic Avengers.
Exactly. And not only that, but everybody's trying to get on it. I can't remember what company it is, but, like, they're... Like, I think it... I don't know who owns the monsters, but, like... Things like
Godzilla?
King Kong and Godzilla. They're trying to create a shared universe between those two. And the Mummy and
Dracula.
And Dracula, they're trying to create a shared universe between all of the original monsters.
Yeah. And I guess that makes me think those aren't successful. They're not doing so well so far, especially with the
Godzilla
Mummy.
and King Kong did. But yeah, the Mummy didn't.
Yeah.
But those are separate
But basically, you see even if you don't like the DC movies, the whole connections between all of it makes way more sense. It feels way more natural. And I think that it benefits from having the comic book standpoint of making everything connected. Do you think that video games can do something similar, having so much to work from, almost like a comic standpoint, where they can really benefit off of that same standpoint, that what makes comic movies so successful, you know?
They could. It would... And I like I said, I think Halo would be a good one for that, you know, for like movies. But they're gonna go with the TV show, which I hope will be good.
I'm just appreciating TV shows more and more nowadays.
Yeah, and I'm sure Hulu and Netflix are too, you know, because they're making a lot of bank off this. But you're seeing players like, this is from Showtime. This is not a Hulu, Netflix, or Amazon thing, which would be expected.
Same with
Showtime. So it's going to be a show like Game of Thrones. It's on one of those like big...
Because what does Showtime have right now? I feel like they have something that I'm not thinking about.
I don't know, but I don't know.
I'm drawing a blank.
The CM has a lot of...
CM or CW?
CW, sorry. The CW has a couple of the Marvel shows, right?
No, they're DC.
Oh, they're DC.
ABC has the Marvel ones.
Right, because they're Disney,
ABC,
so that makes sense. And then you have, who has Walking Dead?
AMC.
I was getting the AMC and CW mixed up.
Yeah.
So AMC's got that. So you're...
But then you have the bigger, like...
The HBO.
The paid networks that are like HBO and Showtime.
But I guess basically... TV networks are starting to realize that what's going to make your network successful is having that one high production show that everyone's going to want to see.
People into your network.
I don't know if you know, but Spike TV recently got bought out by Paramount, And in a few days from now, they're making the full switch to Spike TV no more, and it's going to be Paramount Network.
Wow.
That's definitely a move to move into the TV network.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah. So I think it'd be really interesting to see, because you know that if Halo's successful, we're going to see a lot of other
Lord of the
people.
Rings TV show. Amazon picked up Lord of the Rings TV show. I'm psyched about that. I know, it's okay.
Worried.
No, it'll be good. It'll be
like
good.
the original trilogy.
Lord of the Rings will do well in a TV format.
They better.
I think it will.
So yeah, we have a lot of things to look forward to TV show wise, and I think that there's a lot of, despite video games' horrible track record with movies, I think there's more promise in a TV show format for video games. The more I think about it, the more I like it, you know?
Yeah.
And I really want this to do well, because if that does well, then we can see things like, can you imagine an Uncharted TV series? How awesome that would be. Imagine like basically Indiana Jones as a TV series. That'd be so cool, you know?
Yeah.
I need to play more video games. Or just watch these new TV shows that are coming out. Or just watch them.
And then
Well,
you've got
keep
Assassin's
telling-
Creed. That's going to be
Keep
amazing.
telling you guys we should get a Switch, and we can talk about it on the show.
It's true.
Yeah. We'll switch things up. I beat William to both the puns this episode.
Yeah.
That's
Why do I
sad.
live with you?
I figured a couple Star Wars ones. I don't think you guys noticed.
I didn't
They're in there.
notice. No.
Little Easter eggs for you guys.
Ugh.
But yeah,
Whatever.
I'm
Cool.
I'm really looking forward to this now. To be
Yeah.
honest, I was like interested to hear about this.
I was
but now-
Halo
intrigued,
TV
but
show?
now I'm like, yeah.
I hope they go the anthology route. That would be cool. They did. They played with that idea with their anime, Halo Legends.
Mm-hmm.
That they released which was a bunch of different episodes that were like standalone episodes, all in different kinds of animation.
Yeah.
So they've played with that idea before. That'd be cool.
And they also had the miniseries Forward Unto Dawn, which was not great.
It was okay.
But it was.
And if they did this anthology format, they could take advantage of hiring high-profile actors, just like Black Mirror has been doing, hiring well-known
Just to come
actors
on
just
for
for
an
an episode.
Yeah.
Like you get to use their talent and bring a crowd of people who like those actors to your TV show. So Halo could do that too.
I really like seeing, big name actors in TV shows.
Yeah.
Because for a while it was
neat.
like small.
That's another thing too, is they're crossing over a lot now.
Yeah.
You see people who were successful on TV shows going into movies and vice versa.
That's
like
true. That's not.
the
We're,
actor
we're
who got-
used to that, but that's
Yeah.
not always the case.
Yeah,
you know?
the actor who got cast as DC's Shazam is from Psych.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Zachary Levi.
He's from Psych?
Yeah,
Who was he in Psych?
the main character.
No,
wait,
no,
Chuck.
it's not
Sorry,
Psych.
Chuck.
So I was gonna say.
Sorry, I get the two
no,
confused
James
all the
Roday
time.
is not Shazam.
I get the two confused all the time. He's talking from Chuck, the TV show.
Chuck and Psych.
Chuck.
What?
I don't know. I haven't seen either one of them. So
What? You haven't seen Psych?
So it's like, Chuck. Psych.
oh, okay,
Call on Kyle
And-
lightsaber.
With that,
With that,
we'll bring this first episode of this new season to a close. Thank you for joining us. We have kind of been taking a little holiday break, but we plan on
Brack.
Yep.
back.
We've been-
But we are in full swing now, and we're planning on bringing lots more new content to you. We have announcements coming up very soon. And we have a lot to look forward to this coming year, 2018.
A lot of
Here we
content.
come.
Mm.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So
So.
coming in like a wrecking ball. Sorry,
Anyway.
I
As always, stay kind, geeks.